welcome everyone to the first video of Among Us Real Life Edition, a series about all types of imposters, conmen and charlatans from history. In each video we'll introduce a con artist and try to learn something new about the world of deception. If you haven't subscribed yet, you should. Viktor Lustig is one of the most infamous con artists out there. He was born in the Czech Republic and is mostly known as the man who sold the Eiffel Tower, not once, but twice. Lustig was a charming and slick man. He spoke several languages, which made his life easier and gave him an air of openness and even sophistication. He established himself through many working scams, specifically a money printing machine, or what is referred to as the Romanian money box. He would usually demonstrate how the machine worked to his clients, describing how the device takes only 6 hours to reproduce a $100 bill. Lustig would take the clients to the bank to verify that the money produced is real. Of course it was real. He was the one who stashed it. The clients sniffing the large sums of money coming their way. They would buy a good number of machines for a higher price of over $20,000. 12 hours later, the machine will produce 2 more $100 bills and eventually will only produce blank paper. By the time they realized the scam, it was too late. Lustig was beyond reach. In 1925, Lustig came across a newspaper article which explained the many problems Paris was facing maintaining the Eiffel Tower. At that moment, he decided to take advantage of that fact since public opinion was divided on the Eiffel Tower standing. After all, it was only created for the 1889 Paris Exposition and thus wasn't meant to be a permanent landmark at that time. For this scam to work, Lustig forged some fake government stationery and selected 6 scrap metal dealers to what he called a confidential meeting. There he introduced himself as the Deputy Director General of the Ministry of Posts and Telegraphs. People trust experts, and the uniform is usually how cons exploit this weakness. Lustig claimed that the individuals were handpicked specifically due to their outstanding reputation of honesty and credibility, which are crucial to keep the matter at hand in discretion. The dealers reassured him of their good sense. Lustig somewhat reluctantly, eloquently, explained that the city can't keep up with the maintaining the costs of the Eiffel Tower and thus desires to sell it for scrap. He mentioned how the deal would cause a public outcry if the news are to be released and that his neck will be out there since he's the one in charge of the operation. The man agreed. Lustig rearranged for an inspection tour to be taken in a limousine to further establish his credibility and to detect which one of the men was more enthusiastic about the deal. His eyes, of course, were set on none other than André Poisson. Poisson was a bit insecure about his standing next to the other men, and so this was his chance to join the big boys army of the industry. Poisson in French means a fish, like a dumb fish. After the tour, Lustig asked the clients to submit their bids tomorrow and further reminded them of the secrecy of the whole thing. Poisson was oblivious to the scheme, but his wife was rather suspicious of the whole thing. Why all this discretion and speed? Lustig, understanding the situation, he met the couple and confessed that he was somewhat embarrassed. Despite the status of his position as a government official, the pay is simply not enough to supply his desired lifestyle. The Poisson couple were put at ease. Lustig turned out to be just another simpleton, a government official looking for a quick bribe. They were familiar with such types. Don't be surprised, predictability breeds comfort. Lustig ended up with the money received from selling the official tower and the bribe eventually. As usual, he left the city quickly, anticipating that Poisson will go to the police to report the scam after a few days, but that never happened. Even the smoothest con man who ever lived underestimates the power of a victim's shame and humiliation coming from being conned. Who would trust Poisson with his business if the news of the con were to be published? Lustig, feeling confident that he can pull this over again, he sold the Eiffel Tower once more. However, this time the victim did go to the police, but Lustig managed to escape. Many years later, Lustig was arrested due to an anonymous phone call to the federal agency in the United States. The call turned out to be from his mistress, Billie Mae, out of jealousy. She learned that Lustig was cheating on her with another woman. He was sent to the federal house of detention in New York, from which he managed to escape, but he was caught again 27 days later and was sent to Alcatraz prison where he died of pneumonia in 1947. Lustig maybe wasn't a good man, but he was brilliant in terms of deception. His real name was Robert V. Miller. What made him brilliant was his ability to forge a trustworthy front. He created his famous persona, Count Viktor Lustig, the image of a sophisticated bohemian nobleman with nothing to prove. He practiced over and over and mastered the mannerisms of the nobleman and got rid of any flair of arrogance. His only fault was his inability to stop, understand. Do you know people's greed Predictability, insecurity, shame, superiority, and need for experts are all what a good imposter and conman needs, really. The human element is the weakest link in any security system. Realize this to stop yourself from becoming someone else's prey. The following are Lustig's 10 commandments of a con. Number 1. Be a patient listener. It is this, not fast talking, that gets a conman his victories. We are focused too much on the stereotypical image of a snake oil salesman to recognize the real dangerous ones. Number 2. Never look bored. It's better to seem alert and respectfully interested in the conversation, but not too interested. Number 3. Wait for the other person to reveal any political opinions, then agree with them. Number 4. Let the other person reveal religious views, then have the same ones. Number 5. Hint at sex talk, but don't follow it up unless the other person shows a strong interest. Number 6. Never discuss illness unless some special concern is shown. Number 7. Never pry into someone's personal circumstances. They will tell you all eventually. Number 8. Never boast. Just let your importance be quietly obvious. Arrogance reeks of insecurity. Don't limit yourself by showing off. Number 9. Never be untidy. If you aren't professional, no one would want to be associated with you. Number 10. Never get drunk. If you can't control yourself, how can you conduct any real business? In general, these rules are quite useful in any social interaction. Discretion is often more powerful than eloquence. Learn their power and avoid the dangers of the con. There are other stories of Lustig out there which will be further explored, so stay tuned. Let's see if we can get 500 likes. Anyway guys, stay sharp and look out for the imposters.